Hey guys, it's Tyler from Peregrine, and we're back with another episode of Thank God It's Happy Hour. This week we're celebrating our newest collaboration that we've done here at Peregrine, our Flight Club Espresso. We're going to make a cold brew martini, so let's get into it. So first, a bit about the coffee. This is a collaboration that we've done at Peregrine with our local neighborhood roaster, Heights Coffee, and it's a really nice, approachable blend that also incorporates a lot of really interesting flavors. It's a single origin Tanzanian pea berry coffee, and we've gone ahead and roasted it with what they call their full city roast, which brings out a lot of the sort of earthy, chocolatey flavors that the beans have to offer. The roast is very versatile and can be brewed either hot or cold, as we've done here, and the flavors that it brings definitely varies between those methods, which is a really cool bonus. We're going to go ahead and use these beans to make cold brew, which we're then going to use in our cold brew martini. There's a couple benefits to using a cold infusion method versus like a more traditional espresso martini, and we'll go over those sort of as we make the drink. For our cold brew, we're going to roughly follow Jeffrey Morgenthaler's method, but I've converted it from imperial to metric. So we're going to go with about 450 grams, or just under a pound of coffee, to 2 liters of water. In a large container, you're going to combine all of your coffee and half of the water and stir it together to saturate the beans and make sure everything's properly hydrated. You want to leave it for about 10 minutes, and then at this point you can add the remaining water, and then you just let this mixture sit for 24 hours. If you want to come by every so often and stir it up, that totally works, but when it's done, you can double strain it, first with a mesh strainer to remove most of the beans and other sediment, and then with a coffee filter. The resulting, I'm going to call it liquor, can be diluted with water to make a more traditional cold brew coffee, but we're going to leave it in its concentrated state for making cocktails, partly because we don't want to lose some of the more delicate flavors that we got because we used a cold extraction method, and partly because the intensity and mouthfeel of undiluted cold brew I find is really nice in this cocktail. The caffeine level can be quite high with these cold infused coffees, so if you're averse to that sort of thing, be careful. Or maybe just use decaf coffee in the first place. Compared to espresso, cold brew also has a couple just purely functional advantages. First off, you're not worried about adding a hot espresso shot to cold ice and trying to shake it all together, which can over dilute your cocktail, as well as being worried about the espresso shot oxidizing before you use it and wrecking some of the more delicate flavors that you get with espresso. So this drink is super simple to make, which is actually, I think, part of the beauty of it. You only add really a couple ingredients. We've got our cold brew espresso, we've got our vodka, and we've got our coffee liqueur. Both our spirits come from our friends up at Sons of Vancouver in North Vancouver. And then for garnish, we're going to go ahead with a little bit of lemon peel to sort of bring out some of the flavors in the other ingredients. We're going to mix this guy in our shaker, and we're going to start off with about a full ounce of our cold brew. And then we're going to use a 3/4 ounce of the other 2 ingredients. And like I was saying earlier, our coffee liqueur in this circumstance is a little bit less sweet than some other options like, say, Kahlua. So if you like a little bit sweeter of an espresso martini, you can add a little bit of simple syrup or another sweetener. But I'm just going to leave it as it is. And then we're going to shake this guy up with ice. And since this is technically a martini, we're going to strain it into a coupe glass. And I'm going to use this fine strainer just to make sure we catch any ice particles. Another nice benefit of the cold brew versus like standard iced coffee is I find that the foam that is nice and that you get with espresso is usually also possible with this method as well. And then we're just going to quickly and simply garnish this guy with a bit of lemon. And there we go, our espresso martini. Let's give this guy a taste. It's nice. So the lemon is not a lemony aroma right off the bat. It certainly like integrates with all the other flavors really nicely and brings out this sort of bright cocoa sort of aroma, as well as the coffee. It's really nice, actually. It's very complimentary, the lemon with all these other ingredients. Ooh, it's good. This one is certainly less sweet than I think a lot of people might expect out of a standard espresso martini, but for me, I really like that. I find a sweeter espresso martini can sometimes hide some of the more dynamic flavors that you get out of, especially the coffee, but also like some coffee liqueurs. Yeah, it's really nice. And the foam adds a nice, it delivers the aromatic sort of compounds in a way that's very nice, and also the mouthfeel is a nice bonus too. I mean, it's super delicious, and actually the complexity and the evolution that you get, it goes from like citrus to what is like very identifiable as like coffee, like what most people would assume like coffee flavor. And then you get sort of this chocolate cake, which goes back into this sort of herbal flavor. So from start to finish, it really takes a long time to get where it's going, seeing as we only have 3 ingredients, one of which is vodka, which really doesn't add much in terms of flavor to a drink. So very interesting. And it would definitely be one that if you're into coffee and like to explore some of the more dynamic flavors that you get out of coffee, this would be a great way to explore it in a kind of a fun, different way. Yeah, no, I nearly finished it, so you can tell I like it. If you like this sort of thing, these sort of classic cocktails done with a little bit of a spin, be sure to give us a like, comment, and subscribe, and otherwise we'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Maybe I'll just finish it off.